XO TAKEOVER.
Back, guys, to a brand new episode of XO TakeOver, and today I am joined with the legendary, the OG, Miss Pocahontas. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you
I'm
feeling today?
excited. I'm ready.
So, for those who may not know who you are, do you want to give a quick introduction to yourself?
So, for those who don't know me, I am Poca. That's the name that I go for many, 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 many years now. I'm considered a very OG XO. I've been part of XO since the very beginning. Most of you will be surprised, but I've been an XO since the Mud Club. That's where it all started. That's where it all began, you know? Luckily, and thanks to my brother, shout out to my brother Brian. He was the one who introduced me to Abel. I remember since like the first time ever, he used to be locking in his room all the time and just be on this very crazy depressed mood and like in this dark vibe. And I'm like, what is wrong with this dude? And he would have Abel in the background playing. And I remember this the first song that I ever heard was Laugh Music. Laugh Music was the first one, and he was like, "Yo, sis, just sit down, listen to it. You're gonna love it." And I sat down. I remember we light up a blunt, and it was history. I found love. And at the time he was young and he was like, yo, sis, the Weeknd. Because at first we didn't know that his name was Abel Tesfaye. We were just the Weeknd. The Weeknd is all about his music. We didn't have no image of how he looked at all. And he was like, yo, sis, he's doing this special show in Toronto. Like, mom is not gonna let me go. I'm so young. Oh, you older than me. You're 21. You should definitely go. So I remember we spoke to mom. Mom flew me out to Toronto and I went to his first show. And it's been an amazing experience, an amazing roller coaster. I would definitely say that. It's been very epic. And one main thing that I want to mention that the way and how and why I named myself Pocahontas. It wasn't really me. I wasn't the one that named myself that. Ava was the one who named me when we first met at the first show in the Mob Club after the performance, after his show. Girls being girls, we always got to run to the bathroom because we were holding it in throughout the whole performance and we didn't want to miss it. I went and I ran to the bathroom, and on my way to the bathroom, I bumped into this person. And my first instance and my first thing that I told this person, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you don't see where you're going? And when I looked back, it was freaking April. I'm like in shock. I was like, so like you are like the Weeknd. Like you are the guy that I just saw on stage and did this amazing performance and you were so raw and so real, like so epic. Like, oh my God, this is you. And he was like, okay, calm down a little bit. Yeah, it's me. Like he always been a very chill, very humble person. And he don't like all that attention on him. He was like, "Oh yeah, like this is me. I'm the Weeknd." He never said I'm Abel. He never introduced himself as Abel. It was, "Hey, I'm the Weeknd." And I was like, "Oh my God, finally, it's great to meet you. Just want to let you know that you did an amazing job. Your performance was so epic. I enjoy every single song, and hopefully, this is not going to be the first and last of our bond and our connection. Hopefully, you have more music coming up, and just know that you have a real fan, and I will support you in no matter what you do in life." And not to say like this whole story is so long, he didn't want me to leave before knowing my name. So he was like, "Wait, by the way, like, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh, Yanelsi." And he's like, "Yeah, what?" And I'm like, "Yanelsi." And he was like, "Man, that is too hard for me to remember. Like, you don't have a nickname? Like, doesn't your friend call you any other name?" And I'm like, "Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry. Like, I don't go by no other name." And then he kept looking at me and then he was like, "You remind me of a Disney character." I was like, "Well, what?" He was like, "Yeah, of a Disney character." And I'm like, "Which one?" I'm like, "Wait, Jasmine?" Because I'm like, that's the only Disney character at the time that I could remember. She's the one that I know that has like the long, beautiful black hair. And I'm like, Jasmine? He's like, no, 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 not Jasmine, Pocahontas. And I'm like, really? You think so? He's like, yeah, you look just like her. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So he was like, moving forward, whoever asks what's your name, don't say your real name. Say that your name is Pocahontas. So moving forward, that's your name. So that's where Pocahontas came about.
That is,
And
wow. I mean, what a story. You then went on to meet Abel multiple times, did you not?
yes, I'm so many times ever since. I would say the first time I saw him after that, this might be surprising, but it was during the movie 50 Shades of Grey, and he was doing the Today Show here in New York, and he performed, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like one or two songs. I think three songs max. And one of the songs that he sang was Earn It. And that was back in like 2014, 2015. It was like way before, like right before the Beauty Behind the Madness tour. That was when I first, yeah, that was when the first time I saw him. And I remember before that little performance ended, there was like a lot of fans going around and talking between one another. And there was like, oh, he's going to be in Atlantic City. He's going to be in Atlantic City in the Borgata Hotel. And I was being nosy. Mind you, I went by myself. I was being nosy and I'm like, where he's going to be at? And they was like, oh, he's going to be in Atlantic City in the Borgata Hotel. So I ran back home, logged into my computer and started like Googling the Weeknd Borgata Hotel and all that. And it turns out he had a special show at the Borgata Hotel. And I was there front and center once again, front row. I was like in shock. I was like, oh my God. Like I can't believe like I'm actually seeing him again after all those years. And unfortunately, the reason why that was like my first time after the Mod Club that I saw him performing was because during Kissland and the King of the Fall tour, I ended up in the hospital the day of the two shows. Like my health wise back then, it was like very, very ill. And I remember it was yesterday where I'm laying down in the ambulance and I had an IV on and I'm like trying to remove my IVs because I know for a fact like Abel was on the way to Radio City to perform for the Kissland and the King of the Fall tour and all that. And I'm like here basically dying kind of, and I'm like crying my ass off and I'm like there with my godmother and I'm like, I don't want to go to the hospital. Like I don't care about my health right now. Like it was more important than anything else. But that's the reason why I didn't get a chance to see him doing King of the Fall and Kissland. So I made it like my goal. I'm like, I don't care if I stay broke. Like I'm traveling. I'm traveling all the way to Atlantic City. I'm gonna go see him. And once again, Abel gave him his all. Like he gave his soul. He gave everything in that show. And once again, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's just a connection that I have with Abel and not only Abel, but like the EXO crew. I end up meeting LJ after that show. And I remember he was like, yo, you got a lighter? I was like, boy, I do smoke, but I don't have my lighter. I left it in my hotel room because, I was scared that I was gonna like not be able to bring it into the show. So I left it in my room. It's like, fuck, man, I need a lighter. I wanna smoke. I was like, well, I saw a smoke shop not too far from here. If you want, I'll take you. And he was like, all right, come through, let's go, take me. And then that's how we interacted. We changed each other like Instagram, we follow each other right then and there. At first I didn't know that that was LJ, right? And I was like, wait, who are you? He was like, oh, I'm LJ. I played the bass and keys for the Weeknd. I was like, shit, okay, all right. And we just became friends like since the very beginning. And throughout all these years, like, I love and support him, and it's been great. It's been great. It's fun to interact not only with Abel but also with everyone from the crew, especially, Patrick, Ricky, and LJ. Like, those are my babies. Like, I love them to death. And yeah, so I went to the Beauty Behind the Madness tour like right after. Front and center once again, front row, listening to The Hills, listening to Angel live. Like, I still get the chills whenever I see him perform Angel. Like, Angel's like one of my favorite songs of his from Beauty Behind the Madness. It's just an overall crazy experience, man. And for the record, that was the last time he did a meet and greet, that he added a meet and greet on his tour. And unfortunately, stupid me, I didn't get the tickets for the meet and greet. But, but I did end up getting backstage passes though after the show. Yes, yes. I end up linking up. I remember it was with Hailey and Hawk. Those who don't know who Hailey and Hawk are, Hailey is Abel's personal photographer. Hawk is one of Abel's best friends. And I remember we were vibing throughout the show. And he was like, they were like, yo, Poca, what are you doing after the show? I was like, nothing, going home. Like, there's nothing else to do. Nah, fuck that. You're coming with us to the backstage. We have a party going on. Like, come through, hang out with us. And yo, it was pure black. There was barely any lights and a whole bunch of weed and like all type of drugs that I won't mention. But like it was a mix of a whole lot of alcohol and girls and models. Alexander Wang was there because that was during the time that he had did the collaboration with Alexander Wang, and he had dropped the merch with the bandana and the hoodies and the sneakers. Boy, we were just vibing. And Abel was just like this the whole time. I remember he had a hoodie on, and you couldn't see his eyes, so you saw it from his nose down. And he was just chilling, vibing. And then I don't know where he came through, and he's like, "Yo, Poca, you good? You having fun?" I'm like, "I'm having a blast." He's like, so he comes like, "So drink on, let's drink, cheer up." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "Why are you so like?" Because I was nervous. Don't get me wrong, I was nervous. I was like, this is my first time, like, I'm actually vibing with my favorite artist of all time. And I'm like, all I was telling myself in my head, I was like, don't act like a fan. Don't act like a fan. Don't act like a fan. Don't start asking him questions. Don't start like talking about the show or anything. Just act normal. Act normal. All I was saying throughout the night. And he just made me feel so in peace. I felt like I was home. I felt like I was in a place where I belonged. And that's an energy that he always provides to us. He always gives us like just enjoy the show. When I'm on stage, I'm an artist. I'm a performer. When you get the chance and the opportunity to just hang out with me backstage or in a restaurant or in a private event, able to testify. I'm able in that moment, and this is something that I know for a fact. Like the older I would get, the more I'm gonna talk about it, and and it's my own experience, my own journey with him, and the fact that I could experience that with my daughters, like we get to sit down some nights and we just like vent and we talk about how was my experience the first time I met him and how he is as a person. And actually my daughter, my oldest daughter, she met him during the pandemic. It was yeah, she met him during the pandemic. It was during the time that he performed, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was the MTV Awards when he was at the Edge building and he was wearing the red suit and he was performing Blinding Lights. So we met
Yeah.
him the night after. Yeah, we went to the hotel that he was staying at, and on my NYC XO, I got all of them united, and I was like, "Yo, come on, let's go!" I found out where Abe was staying at. Let's do this. Let's represent for New York. Come link up with me. I know where he's staying at. I know at the time that he's coming out. Just make sure that chill, relax, have your max on. It was during the time that we were all having our max on because of the crazy pandemic that it was going on during that year. And I remember when I was getting ready, I had my daughter here, my oldest daughter, Mia, and I'm like, "Would you love to meet Abel?" And she's like, Abel, ma, like your the weekend, Abel. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God, yes, mom, that would be like the best birthday gift ever. She was turning 13 at the time. She was like, mommy, that would be like the best birthday gift that you could ever give me. Please, mom, take me, take me. And we went. No lie, due to that she's young, she's a teenager. I thought she was gonna give me like some crazy headache and like be cranky because all we knew that he was gonna come out, but we had no idea what time he was coming out. So we were there from like 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when he finally came out. And we got to the idea. She came out with the idea. She's like, "Ma, you have a pen and you have a piece of paper?" I was like, "I think so. Hold on, let me check on my bag." And I check in my bag, and she wrote a little note. And she's like, "Hi, Abel. It's me, Mia, Poca's daughter. I know you know Poca. Can you please sign my T-shirt and what else was it? And my phone case so I could have as a birthday gift." And she wrote that little note. She folded up, and she ended up giving it damn, what's this guy's name? I believe it was Freddie. She ended up giving it to Freddie, and we was like, "Oh, do you mind giving this to Abel?" And we put it in the XO, one of this bag, in one of these. At the time, it was like the clear one with the XO, and we had the inside. We had the shirt, and we put the little note inside the bag, and we gave it to him. Once he comes out, and he had this huge smile on his face, he's like, "Yo." As soon as he opened that little note and he saw that, hey, it's Mia, Polka's daughter, he right away knew that it was you, Polka. And without no hesitation, he autographed everything that you had put in that bag. And my daughter ended up meeting him. He came out, he took pictures with us, he interacted with us. That was the time where I ended up getting my arm tatted. One at a time. My arm tatted, and he ended up writing XO on it. And that same day, like an hour after I hit on my tattoo artist, I was like, "Yo, April just signed my arm. Like, I need you to tat my shit." And he tatted it. And I remember the next day I went back to the same hotel and I showed him my tattoo. He was like, "Yo, Poca, you actually got this shit? You actually got it tatted?" I was like, "Yeah, nigga, what do you mean?" Of course. I'm like, "I'm a ride or die fan of yours and I love you to death. And this tattoo means the world to me." And the fact that I have your name tatted, and not only that, but I have the EXO logo, and you were the one that actually drew the EXO logo on my arm. It's not a one of those like you could just like Google it and like copy and paste it and print it out and get it tatted. No, like this is actually you doing that. It makes it more epic. It makes it more unique. So I love that. Yeah, so I have three tattoos in one. I have his autograph. That was at the Colbert Show a couple of years back when he did Blinding Lights, like a special event here in New York for Blinding Lights. Yeah, it was during the time that he was just promoting um um that song at the time. So I got that tatted, his name. And then during the pandemic, during the crazy time in our lifetime, saw him again and got the XO logo tatted. And the last one I got is it says "I love you," and that was doing the after hours tour. Doing the after hour tour after MetLife. I saw him the day after. We went to his hotel once again with the NYCXO going all out. Saw him and I was like, "Yo, Abel." He was like, "Poca, what else you want to get tatted now?" And I was like, "Well, I have your name already tatted. I already have EXO tatted. But what's one thing you always tell me before you leave? before you get on that car or before you open that door to that hotel and go back to your bedroom, what is something that you always tell me? And then he looked at me, he thought for a second. He was like, I love you. I was like, there you go. So that's what I want you to write in my arm. I want you to write I love you. And just write it however you want it. It could be LOVE or LUV and YOU, like however you want to write it. So he wrote I. And then love, he ended up writing it LUV. And then instead of YOU, he wrote just the letter U. So and it's crazy and it's freaking epic. It's epic.
It's it's honestly insane just hearing about the amazing opportunities you've had to meet him across multiple times.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the only one when I say this that I am very envious of you. But
No, don't be.
you know,
Don't be. I have a feeling like everyone in a lifetime would get to meet him at least once. Whether it's
I'm still
today,
waiting.
whether it's tomorrow, whether it's 5 years from now, our day will come. Yeah, your day will come. Believe me, your day will come. Just have hope. Just have faith. Like Abel said, nothing is ever random. So you
True,
never know. You
true.
never know.
I'm hoping, when it comes back to Europe and the UK, I'm hoping that chance will come. But we are literally got about 10 minutes left, so I've got to get these questions across quick fire.
Go ahead. Go
so
ahead. Ask away.
so quick fire questions. What are your thoughts on Hurry Up Tomorrow?
I love it. I extremely love it. I feel that this album, out of all the albums that he has done,
Hear you again now.
okay, sorry, I just got
It's
a call
fine.
very quick. Yeah, so crazy, part of motherhood. But I feel out of all the albums that he has done throughout his legacy, this has been like the most meaningful one. He gave his soul, he gave his heart, he gave everything in this baby right here. In this baby right here. He gave his all. Like I definitely feel like he's definitely giving it. We gotta show love, we gotta represent, right? He's definitely
Exactly.
is he's definitely giving it his all and he's saying goodbye to his persona as the Weeknd. I am so excited for what he's gonna give us as Abel Tesfaye. I feel like it's the right time, is right timing, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be an amazing journey moving forward. Unfortunately, as sad as I
Do you
am
think
because of all the history that we have going on with the Weeknd, I think it's time. And there's no regrets. There's no turning back. There's no turning back at all. I'm gonna
which
miss the Weekend,
which
but
do you
I'm ready
think
for April
contributes?
Tesfaye.
Which do you think has a bigger impact on the album, the production or the vocals?
The production or the vocals? The production. Definitely the production. Like Mike Dean, Metro Booming. Nah, like it's crazy. But don't get me wrong, those vocals are hitting. Like I could hear the soul in him and his vocals. And I could hear how not desperate, that's not the word, but how anxious he is just to let go of this persona. Like I feel like he just wants to like give his all. He's gonna give his all on stage in this upcoming Hurry Up Tomorrow tour. And he's just gonna leave everything on stage. I'm
Which
excited though
which was your favorite feature?
of Hurry Up Tomorrow. I gotta really think about this hard because I love them all. There's not a single song of the album that I dislike. But my favorite has to be the one with Lana Del Rey, The Abyss. That's my
That seems to be the one that everyone that I've interviewed or spoke to, they've all said Lana Del Rey on The Abyss.
yes, yeah.
It is an amazing track. I think all of the features really played their parts on the tracks that they are on. In terms
What's your
of
favorite?
the music videos for this, my favorite, I really, really, really like at the minute. What's it called? Baptized in Fear.
Baptized in Fear?
At the minute, but in terms of features, it has to be what's it called? Reflections Laughing. That one is just. But
The one with Chad?
with the Baptized in Fear, yeah, the
Yeah.
Baptized in Fear transition is just it just hits something in my brain, and I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just so good.
And I
It's
feel like
so good.
I feel like this album takes you to a different universe, to a universe that it hasn't existed yet. Like as soon as
The
I played
crazy thing
"Wake
is,
Me Up" all the way to the last track of "Hurry Up Tomorrow," it's like a crazy roller coaster. It's like I'm in a different planet. Like I'm out of space. That's how I feel when I'm have my headphones on and I'm listening to it. I'm like the beats, the production, his
the thing is,
vocals.
right? It does not feel like a 22 track album. It does not feel that long,
No.
and there's not many people can do that. Can take a 22 track album and make you actually listen to it all front to back.
Yes.
Drake
There's no
couldn't do that.
skipping. There's no skipping whatsoever. Even though before the album
Exactly.
drop, we end up getting Sao Paulo and we end up getting Timeless. Now like I could finally say that the connection between those two tracks in the album, it makes sense. Like when I saw him performing it in Brazil and in Australia, I was trying to get the connection. I was like, what is this two song connects to the rest of the songs from Donna Fam and After? I was like, how is this connecting? But now that he finally dropped the album and we have the opportunity to listen to the whole thing, I'm like, whoa, okay, okay, this is something. This is it's just crazy. It's just definitely crazy.
Well, unfortunately, unlike the connections for that album, this is the end of the episode. That's the end of the questions. But now it's time for me to pass it over to you and let the people watching, the people listening know your top 5 tracks and why.
Top fives in general of his legacy.
General.
Okay. My number one. And this one I can listen to day and night. And it doesn't matter what vibe and what mood I'm in. It definitely has to be love music. And it means a lot to me and it's so meaningful because that was the first track I ever listened to. And that's the song that made me love Abel. So love music, numero uno. Number one. Number
Number
two,
2.
Kissland. Kissland is my baby. And the fact that I got the opportunity to hear it live at the after hours, those OG XO, we know. We know how much we wanted it. I love every part of it. I love the song, I love the lyrics, I love the meaning behind that song. I love where he would stand at during that time, during that era. It's just something that I just love and cherish. So that's number two. Number
Number
three,
3.
Angel. Angel is my number three. And it's because it represents someone that I love dearly. And I was in love with that person. And every time I listen to that song, reminds me of that love and that connection that I had with that special someone. That's number three. Number four. Oh, we're getting to the finals too. Oh my god. Okay. Number four. Hard. King of the Fall. King of the Fall, baby. King of the Fall.
Yes.
King of the Fall,
Yes.
baby. That's my baby. King of the Fall is my number four. I just love the song. Love it all. Love the fact that all the EXO crew are in that video. It just represents who we are as EXO, and I just love that track. I just love it. Like I live it every time I listen to it. Number 5. Even though this is so fresh and it's brand new, and I just feel that this is a song that as soon as I hear it live on this upcoming tour, I know for a fact that I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown and I'm gonna cry as a baby. Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's my top 5. Those are my top 5. There's more in the list, but those are my
No,
top 5.
only five. Only five. That's all
5.
everyone's getting. Only five.
Yes.
You all get
Yes.
five. That's it.
That's it. I'm not mentioning any more, but just know there are more. Yes.
Well, Poca, thank you so much for being a part of XO Takeover Season 2. And, I hope one day to live a life that you have lived. But
Well, be me.
that is it for this week's episode. Tune in next week for more special guests talking more things XO right here. You know where to find us.
Love ya. XO to be over though. Please follow and subscribe. You guys will not regret it. Love ya. Bye.